Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans Review. It is Sunday. Celtic are away to Hearts with that ridiculously low allocation. And there's a word of warning on this channel. YouTube is an entertainment platform. It is not the mainstream media. So let's just get that out there. First of all, right, let's get to the Celtic news. Celtic news this morning. There's quite a lot of headlines running about this morning. I read the headlines so that you don't have to. And hopefully there will be a time when Brendan Rodgers can be trusted is one headline coming out this morning. And then we're going to talk about the team today and the team that we think that Brendan Rodgers may put out, depending on what happens with Callum McGregor today. Tomoki Iwata has been speaking to the press, confused and fearing that the boos were aimed at him when he came off the pitch at the weekend. And then there's another headline where I'd be amazed if Brendan Rodgers was still at Celtic come the summer. It's always the same, isn't it? The media, they have to try and get Celtic on a game day. They have to try and come out with a story to try and make sure that Celtic fans have a little bit of doubt. They have that little bit of anxiety going into the game. Do you like to talk today, actually? Still fits after all these years. All my top still fits. Look after yourself, lads. And anyway, Celtic, here's another one. This is going to be a cracker, this one. Kieran Maguire reveals the 10 million Celtic advantage over Rangers after the fan outrage. Celtic are underperforming this season as they boast a 10 million advantage over arch rivals the Rangers when it comes to squad cost. Who fucking cares? Oh my God. So because we've got a 10 million advantage over Rangers, our squad's worth 10 million more. That's an advantage. Said no one ever. Said no one ever. The most expensive squad don't always win. Although Michael Beale did say, Ange Postecoglou, he was a cockney, wasn't he? Like, he was like, Ange Postecoglou's lucky, like, because he's like spends loads of money. Anyway, there's enough of the hilarity on yesterday's video. This is a serious Celtic news video this morning. We will be live an hour and a quarter before the game today to talk about the team as it is released by Celtic. Now, the absences and predictions for the game today, Celtic are away to Tynecastle. And when on the face of it, it's always a tight game at Tynecastle, but Callum McGregor was substituted at the Dundee game to make way for a young Daniel Kelly, a young fantastic prospect that is one of our own. If you haven't watched this channel before, welcome to the channel. I always say that we should be bringing through as many young players as possible through the academy. Callum McGregor even says that it's an aim of Celtic every season to try and bring at least one player through from the academy. And I think that the young guy Kelly is one for the future. And I did say and the people saying, calm yourself. I can remember this. This happened the exact same when Callum McGregor played his first game for Celtic. I said, one day, that young lad will be a Celtic captain. Mark my word there. Young Kelly will one day be a Celtic captain. Mark my word for it. Mark this day down. I have said it a couple of times on this channel, and I think he is one for the future. He came on and he slipped gently into that midfield. His positioning was fantastic. His movement off the ball was fantastic. His movement and awareness of players was absolutely fantastic for an 18-year-old guy. And it was brilliant. He blew me away. He almost blew me away. Anyway, will he make the bench today? It'll be interesting to see if he does make the away trip bench. Elsewhere, it remains to be seen whether the absent Rio Hatate is, well, we all know that he's still in rehabilitation, suffering from that a double calf injury, which is a weird one. Got a double calf injury, and there's no change to the little Israeli player situation. He will be on his way out to Celtic, and Celtic will sell him this summer. So the prediction and the team prediction. I've been going for 3-0 the past couple of games. I think this one may be closer, and I think it might be. It's either going to go one way this game. It's either going to go a nervy 2-1 away game, but after the results and after the performance, I think Celtic have got a bit about the teeth. I think it's always good to put it in. You can sometimes come too fast, and I think that's what Rangers done. They came and seen the top of the table and ejaculated all over the place and thought they were at the finishing line. Sometimes you're better being slow, nice slow lover, and just easing in, and then just peaking at the right time. It's fucking, you always get a different perspective on this channel. That's one thing for sure. Anyway, and I think we are peaking just at the right time, just as we're getting over the finishing line. I think Celtic are going to go on a magnificent run, and I did say that a couple of weeks ago. I said we just need to win every game ugly between now and the end of the season. Anyway, the lineup for today will be Joe Hart. He will continue in goals before he retires from Celtic at the end of the season. Joe Hart obviously coming out and telling Brendan Rodgers, having words with Brendan Rodgers, having words with the goalkeeping coach, and obviously being aware of the fact that Celtic were obviously looking to try and bring in another keeper, a younger version of Joe, perhaps. And Joe felt it was right. He didn't want to go and play for another club. He didn't want to. He wanted to go out on a high. So let's make sure that he does go out on a high. And Joe Hart will continue in goals. Alistair Johnson will feature on the right side of the defence with Greg Taylor on the opposite side as always. And then it's going to be Cameron Carter-Vickers. Will he go through his first 90 minutes or will he play the first 60, 65 minutes of this game? I think he could. He could be in line for his first full 90 minutes, and I think he would just be getting up to speed to make sure that he's fully fit for the game at the beginning of next month, the all-important one. The important one that will put the league title to bed, if you ask me. That'll be the game where the champions of Celtic are decided. It is all just part of parcel of the game, and it will be crossing the I's and dotting the T's. Anyway, Liam Scales and Cameron Carter-Vickers will play in the defence. And then I think Tomoki Iwata has been playing, who's come onto a game as well, it's got to be said. Tomoki Iwata, he must have been frustrated at the lack of game time over his time at Celtic so far, but he's got into his preferred position, which has allowed Callum McGregor to go further forward. We've all been ecstatic about the fact that Callum's allowed to get further forward and he does what he does on the pitch. And you'll have Matt O'Reilly playing next to him. The big debate, obviously, is going to be this summer whether Celtic can manage to retain the services of Matt O'Reilly. Have Matt O'Reilly and Celtic made a secret deal to sell him this summer, or will he stay for that Champions League spot? But then again, it all depends what happens with Atletico Madrid if they come back in for him, and if they can get back up the table into a Champions League spot. Anyway, with the high-tempo game that Daniel Kelly came into midweek, I think it'll be. Would it be too much for him? Paulo Bernardo, he'll make the pitch. Does he even come into the 11 if the captain is out? It's all going to come down to whether Callum McGregor is fit or not today. For me, I did ask the question on one of the lives the other evening. I said, if Callum McGregor's not fit at away to Hearts, would you play Paulo Bernardo or Daniel Kelly? Would you play Paulo Bernardo or Daniel Kelly? For me, although Paulo Bernardo is a fantastic player, although is he a prospect at between £3 and £6 million? I don't think so, but you know what you can get from him. I think Daniel Kelly, that youngness and that eagerness to perform and to make sure that we succeed. You got to remember, he's been at Celtic a long time. He's came through the ranks from Celtic at 8-year-old. He's going to follow in the footsteps of Celtic greats like Callum McGregor, James Forrest, that have been one-team players. You can even say Tony Rowson that's come through the ranks. He's going to be one of those lads that really gets Celtic. And he will be one of those lads that will get a lot of stick from Celtic when he has bad games, because that's what Celtic fans do. That's what we do. We give our own more stick than we do the international players. Anyway, tell me in the comments, would you go with Paulo Bernardo if Callum McGregor is out, or would you go with Daniel Kelly? It's an interesting one for this morning's video. And remember, we will be live an hour and 15 minutes before kickoff today. Rodgers wants to challenge his attacking three from Wednesday if he wants to change it. Obviously, you've got Dyson on one side and Yang and Adam Ida up front. Does he change that front three, which was a fantastic pair? And let's face it, it was all about goals galore. It was all goals galore. And when we look at the table, it's all in our hands now. And I did say, and to the Rangers fans that would come on saying, how's it in your hands, man? We're top of the league. I did say it's in Celtic's hands. If we go on and win every game till the end of the season, we are champions. It is simple as that. Simple. Woo. Really simple. Would you leave Lewis Palmer on the bench, Kyogo Furuhashi and Nico Kuhn on the bench? Are they ready to come back in for that away game? Brendan Rodgers has thrown down the gauntlet, and we'll talk about that in a minute, to the one and only Kyogo, and he's basically given him a challenge, and it'll be interesting to see. So that's full predicting my lineup. I'm probably going to go for Hart, Johnson, Carter. It's going to be the same. But it's either... I'm not sure about the middle. It's either going to be, if Callum McGregor's not 100% fit and he doesn't play, listen, Callum's going to play. Let's knock on the head. Callum's going to play. Callum will be in that, and then it'll be the same starting team as against Dundee, and it'll probably be the same substitutes that come on. Anyway, Tomoki Iwata, when he was taken off the a certain game at Motherwell, Celtic fans decided to boo the manager. They booed the manager because, yes, they did. They booed the manager. It wasn't a fucking boo. It was just it was like a general boo. It wasn't a fucking boo like the Rangers do. There's two different types of boos. So I mean, anyway, the manager was booed for taking off a defensive midfielder and replacing him with an attacking midfielder. Now Brendan Rodgers did say he thought. I thought it was a good move. It's attacking. We're trying to win the game. We're going forward. But the fans know better sometimes. The fans know better. No, they don't. Of course we don't. We're just here commentating. We're just chatting. Like, you're sitting watching. You and me are sitting watching. Well, you're not me. I mean, I'm sitting talking. I'm sitting talking to you this morning. You're enjoying your cornflakes and you're watching this video, just wanting to talk and listen about Celtic. That's what we do. And this is what YouTube is all about. It's not a professional platform for professional journalists. It is YouTube. If you look, and this is a funny thing actually. One of the biggest YouTubers, or if not the biggest YouTuber in the world, doesn't record in 4K. He doesn't want to record in 4K. He wants to keep it at 1080 because it's YouTube, and he wants to keep it as YouTube. That's an interesting one. I bet you didn't know that. And then tell me who you think I'm talking about in the comment section. And his first name is Jimmy, but he doesn't get called Jimmy on his YouTube channel. Anyway, that's an interesting, just a little geek moment. Anyway, thanks to the 3-1 win, 2 goals over say injury time against Motherwell, Celtic did go on to win that game, and Brendan Rodgers took off the one and only Iwata. And Iwata said, I felt bemused and I was scared of the negative response. Was it to my own display that the fans were booing? At the beginning, I was confused, and although it was revealed through the translator, like it was towards me or what, I said, but in no way. It was a compliment. It was actually a compliment that the fans were booing, that the manager decided to take me off, and he didn't understand that, which was, you can understand when his English isn't his first language and he's not used to what really goes on in the mindset of Scottish people. They're all a bit crazy, seemingly. Just look at the video last night. He was hoping to get some good opportunities. He said that Iwata, he says, yes, it's difficult at the moment, but I'm happy. The only thing I was thinking about is how I was going to get time on the pitch here. Now I can improve myself. I can contribute to the team. Iwata thanked his family for supporting him during those difficult moments at Celtic on the sidelines. He didn't feel that it was difficult. He did feel it was difficult, and maybe because his family supported him, he's now settled in very well in Glasgow. Now, let's get to Hugh Keevins. Hugh Keevins, who's allegedly a Celtic fan. About bullshit. He talks that much nonsense about Celtic. He says in his column today, I'd be amazed if Brendan Rodgers, this is the guy that gets every prediction about Celtic completely wrong over the years. Every single prediction about Celtic completely wrong. You remember the old, when they said, pack of cards, they're going to fall like a pack of cards. They're going to fall like a pack of cards, man. I'm telling you, they're going down. It's like a pack of cards. Like boop, boop, boop. And then we went on to win a double, and then we went on to win a treble. So it's not like it's house of cards. Nah, don't see it. Anyway, he says, I'd be amazed if Brendan Rodgers is still Celtic manager next season. And there are 3 R's. And these are the reasons why. The 3 R's. Oh, fuck it, this is going to be an interesting one. I'm reading this so you don't have to. It's just pure entertainment. To the extent which resonated lingers on, demonstrated during the game in Motherwell last weekend. I'd be amazed if Brendan Rodgers is still the manager of Celtic next season. Whether or not he wins the league title in May. The baiting of Brendan made for an uncomfortable listen or watch over the past week. Resentment, rejection, and retribution. The manager has to face all those negative reactions. What fucking Jesus God, honestly. It must have been moments during the public fallout of Brendan Rodgers' verbal exchange to Jane Lewis on Sunday. See what I mean? Don't even go near the Daily Record today. Don't even read it. It's fucking hell. Anyway, I wondered what had come over him since June last year when he was at his home in Spain. Fantastic part of the world. Come back, Brendan. It says, that day when he abandoned his original plan to take a year-long sabbatical, instead, Dermot Desmond phoned him. Come back, Brendan. The press conference on that Tuesday explained himself after the post-match interview that the thing with Lewis at Ford Park was strongly reminiscent of one of his first returning Celtic manager in July. I wrote it here at the time that Rodgers was another example of an interrogation dressed up as an interview. Fucking Jesus. So he thinks that he's going to... I'm not even going to read any more of it. He's bringing up the Jane Lewis thing. Jane Lewis has laughed the thing off. There's no point, is there? Anyway, let's get to the £10 million question. The £10 million question that Kieran Maguire has said. It's a Catholic name, Kieran Maguire, but is he? We'll soon find out. Anyway, underperforming the season they boast the 10 million advantage. That Celtic are underperforming. Well, no, Celtic are underperforming, and it's like everyone's going, well, where the hell did that performance come from on Wednesday? Brendan Rodgers, and listen to what Brendan Rodgers says, right? If you want to listen to any interviews, always listen to the full media conference interview given by Celtic on the Celtic YouTube channel. Because the media in general tend to leave a lot of what Brendan Rodgers says out. Although they don't get, Celtic don't put obviously up the hour long written press one, where the media can be very selective and they can come out with the stories and dribs and drabs over the space of a week. But listen to what Brendan Rodgers says, and he's spoken about it many times. He's spoken about the fact that he wants to play fast attacking football, and I'll make sure that my teeth are in for the live just before the game today. Brendan Rodgers wants to play fast flowing attacking football. One touch pass. That's what Brendan Rodgers' team did the first time he was here. Maybe not so much towards the end of his reign, but definitely the first time he was here. It was all one touch pass. Celtic against Dundee, it was all one touch pass. Fast flow moving football. We agree? And people are saying, well, where did that come from? Celtic spend more on their wage bill compared to their arch rivals, the Rangers. Brendan Rodgers' side have leapfrogged their rivals in the league table. The rivals are sitting top with 2 points clear. Well, I think you might have been a bit. I think you wrote this a day too early. I think you might have waited until we'd all played the same amount of games and then wrote this article. Well, hopefully this afternoon. Celtic announced a profit of 40 million in 22-2023 with 67 million in the bank. Lawwell insisted that the transfer funds were not available in the transfer window. Transfer that were not available. Yes. Right. Maguire argued that Celtic's season is not a financial, but they already boast a huge advantage over Scottish clubs. Huge, massive, boom. A huge advantage. There's an argument that for Celtic to invest more to get behind, as they're behind Rangers, and it's fucking he's a hundred. It's a fucking hundred. Oh, God. I really have to read this for you this morning. Now, if they can't win the league when they have this financial advantage, they're generating more money than their rivals. They're not necessarily wrong from a financial point of view. Either Celtic are underperforming or Rangers are overperforming. What do you think about the result yesterday? Motherwell won at Ibrox for the first time in 27 years, I believe. It's fucking. Oh my God. Some people, it's anyway. Celtic are financially ahead of the Rangers. Therefore, it should give them an advantage because we know in terms of wages, their wage bill is 20% more than the Rangers. Their squad also cost 10 million more. The excuses are coming. That's it. I've not even had my orange juice or coffee yet, but the fucking excuses are coming already. Their wage bill is it's huge. It's a huge lot of money in the Scottish market. He goes on to say, "Oh Jesus, is that it? That's Andy's fucking pish article." Oh my God. Anyway, tell me what you think the score will be today. I'm either going for a nice cozy 2-1 win, or it's going to be a game where Celtic will really make a marker. And it's been the first time that Celtic have made a marker on a Sunday for a long time. I think we'll come out the first half absolutely raring to go. I've just realised this video's went on for almost 19 minutes. Anyway, I'll see you in a couple of hours, Celtic fans, where we'll go live. And on that note, have a fantastic morning, Celtic fans all around the world.